Former police officer Ndlovu has been sentenced to life imprisonment for murdering 5 of her relatives and her partner. Ndlovu was last month found guilty of orchestrating the killings for insurance payouts. Let's get an update now, a live update in fact, with our reporter Zikwana Chona, who spent the day in court. Zikwana, good to see you. So let's start with how things unfolded. It was an early start and dragged on until the afternoon.
So the first person on the stand in terms of sentencing proceedings was Ndlovu herself. She was a witness in her own case. She apologized to the families, not for murdering their loved ones. She says she still insists that she's innocent. She says that she's apologizing because they believe that she killed their loved ones. She had a lengthy speech thanking the police officers that are looking after her while she's in prison, also breaking down, saying that she's thinking about her mother and hopes her mother is well. Her mother wasn't in court today. We know that her mother previously had testified in her favor. That testimony was followed by testimonies of the victims' families who told the court about the pain that they've suffered since losing their loved ones. They have left behind children. A mother testified about her losing her only child, and now she lives off a social grant. The child was a breadwinner. But in the gallery, the victims of the other families that were attending the court proceedings, they were just crying throughout each and every of those witnesses' testimonies. And
the judge, despite Ndlovu's insistence that she just happened to be around the people who were murdered, the judge still said that the state presented quite a strong case to prove that A, she is guilty of ordering the hits as they were, and that the insurance payout story is legit.
He's in fact described her as a danger to society, described her as a cruel aunt because she lured her victims and made them believe that she loved them, she had their best interests at heart. He described her as manipulative and a bully, saying that she deserves a very, very long sentence. She should, in fact, be kept in a facility that has very high security. There was also, very important, a criminologist that testified in the proceedings. He's described her character as someone who was very hostile in their interaction, also saying that she's, in fact, a serial killer, given the pattern of the crimes that she committed.
And Zikwana, you know, you talk about the fact that her mother, Ndlovu's mother, had testified in her defense. You had her sister that you were able to be with on the day that the initial guilty pronouncement was made by the court. And it's one thing for us to gawk at the numbers, the money, but the aftermath of this has left many people devastated.
Certainly, and also her community in Bushbuckridge, the people that she grew up among, were saying this is someone that they knew as a police officer. The judge also saying this is very serious because you, in fact, betrayed your motto as a police officer to serve and to protect. And this is how people saw her in Bushbuckridge, as someone as a police officer who worked in Johannesburg, would come home every now and then, and they trusted her. Her sister, the person that she was intending to kill on the day of her arrest, was in fact her sister and her 5 children. She had hired a hitman to torch the house that her sister was living in with her 5 children, not knowing that the police had in fact hired a private police officer to travel with them from Gauteng to Mpumalanga. She was then arrested at a police station. The police accompanied her to her sister and told her sister, in fact, this was meant to be your last day alive. The sister is devastated, saying that she cannot believe that someone that she trusted, her own blood, would plot something like this against her. Even her own mother was meant to be killed. The judge said today the mother is very likely to be alive because we know that she had hired a hitman to kill her mother. The hitman reached her mother's home, saw an elderly woman and felt sorry for her.
That's how, couldn't do it.
And just couldn't do it. That's how the story came to light, in fact. Then there's that relationship between the mother and the daughter. When we were in Bushbuckridge, the mother literally had locked all her doors, closed all her curtains. We were shouting outside her house for her attention. With the assistance of neighbors, she just looked out and she said she's simply not able to talk. So that there's that relationship that's been strained. The daughter saying that she's more than happy to have a relationship with her mother after this, but of course we know that she testified against her sister and her mother testified in favor of her sister.
What about appeal? Do we know if that option is available, and will Ndlovu use it?
Today, in fact, she did try apply for leave to appeal both the conviction and the sentencing. Her lawyers saying that they believe that another court would reach a different conclusion to this one. But the judge dismissing that and saying that he does not believe any other court would reach a different conclusion. The manner in which the people were killed is just too cruel, and Rosemary deserves to spend the rest of her life behind bars.
Sikona Chona, thank you very much for that update on Rosemary Ndlovu's sentencing today. Let's move